Namaste, welcome all of you for this Panchatantra session today. First, we'll start with the Nitya Shloka. Mahati Aunty will teach you now the Shloka.
स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्
श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम आलयम करुणालयम नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरम लोक शंकरम. श्लोका praise to Adi Shankaracharya. Purananam namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Adi Shankaracharya's another name is Bhagavatpada. So Bhagavatpada Shankaram refers to Adi Shankaracharya. And what is the quality? What are the qualities of Adi Shankaracharya? He is Loka Shankaram. Loka means all the world. We are living in this earth, right? So this earth is called as Loka, and he is Loka Shankaram. Sham means good, because he has introduced us, the entire Guru Parampara. He has done us a great favor, right? In order to, by introducing us the Guru Parampara, because only because of the Guru Parampara, we have Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham. Only because of the Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham, we have this Dharma Moolam program. Only because of the Dharma Moolam program, you guys get to hear a lot of interesting stories, right? So he has done a great job of introducing us or starting the Guru Parampara. So the shloka says, to that Adi Shankaracharya, I offer my namaskaras. Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Listen to the exciting Panchatantra stories, okay?
Okay, kids. Shri Gurubhyom Namaha. Good morning, everyone.
Hi.
On Tuesday, 2 days ago, we started talking about Panchatantra. And what Panchatantra is, how did it start, what is the significance of Panchatantra, and what are the Panchatantras, right? So today, we'll get into the story part of it. Can everybody?
I have a question.
Sharmaji, you can see the screen, right?
Yeah, I can see. You can see the screen.
Okay. So now, in the last session, we talked about Panchatantra, and the first of the Panchatantras we said is Mitra Bheda, which is losing friends. We have friends, we have near and dear ones. So there was a merchant named Vardhaman who lived in a town in south of India, and as he was resting on his bed one day, he started thinking, and he thought about what will make him happy, what will make him very important in the world. And he told himself, well, I need to earn a lot of money, because money is what will make somebody very important, money, wealth, and all. And he started thinking how to make a lot of money. And after thinking a lot, he decided, let me take all the things I have to the nearest city called Mathura, and sell my stuff there, make a lot of money, and then I can come back a rich man. Okay, so gathering everything, all the products, all the things he has, what he did was one day, on a very good auspicious day, he bought 2 bullocks. Bullocks, they are like 2 ox, 2 bulls, tied them to a cart, and he also got some other carts, bullock carts.
I cannot see your face.
Stuffed.
The screen
Stuffed all
the same page. Be quiet, please.
stuffed all the things he has on the carts and started going to Madura. He took all his workers along with him, and on the way, he had to cross a jungle to get to Mathura. Then it's a very long journey. It's
Can I see
very
the
tiring.
pictures?
One of the bullocks, and its name was Sanjeevaka. Okay, one of the bullocks named Sanjeevaka. What happened was it collapsed in the middle of the jungle because it slipped and broke his leg. Okay, the merchant was very worried, and he got down the cart, checked what happened, and saw that Sanjeevaka is not able to get up. He immediately stopped all the carts coming behind their cart and brought all his workers, asked them to take care of Sanjeevaka, give Sanjeevaka some medicine so Sanjeevaka can get up and they can go to Mathura. They spent a lot of time. It turned into night. They spent a few days, I think 4 or 5 days. But Sanjeevaka did not get up. It's still in pain. And the wound did not heal. So the merchant was already in the forest for 4 or 5 days, and he is losing a lot of precious time just for a bull. So what he said was, he called 2 of his workers and said, listen, I'm going to give you some money, some food, and you can keep your stuff, your clothes or whatever you brought with you, but keep this cart and Sanjeevaka with you. Take good care of Sanjeevaka. Make sure he heals his wound and he gets back to good health. And when he gets back to good health, bring him along and come to Mathura and meet me. I'll go with other carts and then I'll start selling all this stuff and start making money. We'll wait for you there. And before leaving, Vardhaman, the merchant, also said, and by the way, in an unfortunate situation where Sanjeevaka dies, make sure you perform all the things that need to be done and come to Mathura. Okay, because Vardhaman was really worried for Sanjeevaka. Then the merchant told that to his 2 workers, and he left with other carts and all this stuff he brought with him to Mathura. The servants waited in the forest for a couple of days, trying to heal Sanjeevaka. But then, they were servants and they started feeling very lost, and it's forest, right? Nobody to find there. So they said, okay, how long are we going to stay here? So let us just go to Mathura and tell our owner, tell Vardhaman, tell our owner that Sanjeevaka died, and we just left the body there. We did whatever you asked us to do. Okay, so they left the bull behind in the forest and reached merchant Vardhaman in Mathura. And there they told him that Sanjeevaka died as the injury got bigger. Can you guys please stop annotating requests? Okay. So they said they took care of Sanjeevaka's body and they came. Vardhaman, the merchant, felt sad for Sanjeevaka, but then he went on doing his business, selling his stuff in Mathura. Now this jungle was on the banks of river Yamuna. And Sanjeevaka, what happened was, after a few days, its leg healed. The wound on the leg healed, and it started getting healthy. It got up on his feet, and started roaming around. And it walked around slowly on the banks of river Yamuna. and ate, on the banks of rivers, you will find a lot of, trees, grass, a lot of organic greenery, like green stuff. So it started eating all that organic grass, medicinal herbs and all, and became healthy again. And not only that, it started putting on a lot of weight. And after a few days, it actually turned into almost like Shiva's Nandi, a huge bull, because it kept on eating. There's no work for him to do. So it became like Shiva's Nandi. And after regaining strength, the Sanjivaka, the bull, started going around the jungle, dancing, making sounds, singing, and all. Now, what happened was, in the same forest, on the far away, there was a lion called Pengalaka. Okay, there was a lion. The name is Pengalaka. The lion is the king of the forest, and a lot of other animals listen to whatever the lion had to say. So one day, what happened was, Pengalaka and other animals were drinking water from Yamuna river. All of a sudden, they heard a very strange sound. Very strange sound. Something like that. And the Pengalaka couldn't understand what that sound was, and it was so big. And Pengalaka never heard that sound before. It was strange. It sounded very strange. And whenever we hear any sounds that we cannot understand, we feel afraid, right? That's what happened to Pengalaka the Lion King.
Can you guys hear me?
The Lion King. So in panic, what happened was the lion withdrew into the jungle, and it was shivering, shaking. What is this new animal? Where did it come from? What kind of an animal is it? Is it a huge animal that came to our forest new and is going to defeat us, kill us? What am I going to do now? How am I going to escape it? How am I going to save myself and all my other animals in my kingdom? So, and it did not move from its den. It stopped eating. It was very sad. And all the animals looking at the king, they also started feeling sad, right? What happens, when we are in a family or in a classroom or in a neighborhood, if one of the elders is sad, sorrowful, and very frightened, we also become a little frightened. What happened? We also try to follow our leader or the king. So also all the animals also started feeling very worried. And Pengalaka is, day by day, Pengalaka is feeling very worried and trying to see how to escape from the forest. So sensing the situation of the king, two jackals, as we said earlier, Karataka and Damanaka. As you can see, Karataka and Damanaka, these are the two jackals. They said, the Karataka and Damanaka, they were sons of two ministers who the king Pengalaka dismissed earlier. Pengalaka dismissed two ministers, and Karataka and Damanaka were sons of those two ministers. And Damanaka thought and asked Karataka, what could have happened to the Lord of the Forest? What could have happened? Why is our king so worried? Why is our king so fearful? What is he afraid of? Why is he not moving and, so frightened? He's the king of the jungle. Why is he not as ferocious? Why doesn't he look as strong as before? What is happening? He's not eating well. He's not coming out of the den. He's not going to the river Yamuna for drinking water. Asked Damanaka. Then Karataka said, Damanaka, it is none of your business. Why should we poke our nose into the affairs that are not our concern? Haven't you heard the story of the monkey which pulled out the wedge from the log, asked Karataka. Then Damanaka got curious and said, "Oh, sounds interesting. There's a monkey which tried to pull a log, wedge from a log. What is it? What happened? Why don't you tell me what happened to that monkey?" Right? Then Karataka started telling the story. So Panchatantra is like this. There is a story, and then as appropriate, we get into another level of story. And then from that story, we move on to another story. So it's a series of stories. Now Karataka started telling the story of a monkey which tried to do something that is none of his business. Okay. So Karataka said, "Now listen," and started narrating the story. Once upon a time, there was a rich merchant who was also very religious and God-fearing. He was fearing God. He always prays a lot, and he has a lot of money also. So what did he do? He decided to do something good for the society and started building a temple. He wanted to build it very huge, a huge temple where a lot of people can come and pray, and never before seen kind of a temple. So he started building a temple on the outskirts of the big town he was living in. And on the outskirts, there were huge trees all around, lot of place. And he started cutting, he got a lot of construction workers, many masons, construction workers, and carpenters. They were working on this project. Okay. Now, since it's a forest there, obviously, there are a lot of trees and there are also a lot of monkeys. And those monkeys, they are jumping up and down the trees and watching what the workers are working on. Very curious. Some monkeys coming near the workers, trying to steal some of the tools and doing all sorts of naughty stuff and all. The construction workers, they used to come in the morning, early in the morning, start working on the construction work and do a lot of work. And during lunchtime, since it is forest, right? So they used to go back into the town to have their lunch and then come back. Okay. One day, a group of carpenters were trying to cut down a huge tree trunk and a tree trunk into a lot of pieces. Okay. You know how they cut long woods, right? Long trunks into pieces using axe, and they once they start cutting the log into pieces, they'll put a wedge. So, and then they'll keep on increasing the split in the log. So they put a wedge, and they were cutting the huge trunk. They wanted to cut it into long pieces, and they want to make furniture for doors, windows, and furniture for the temple. So now a group of monkeys watching how the trees were being cut, and the bark was taken off. They were, they got very curious and started watching all these works. And what happened was, one of the curious monkeys, Curious George. So Curious George, kind of a monkey, what happened was, they came close to where this work is going on and started watching very carefully. And one of the curious monkeys got really curious and came closer. So after some work is done, these carpenters, they got tired, and they said, "Okay, let's go for lunch. Let's put a wedge in the split made into this trunk." So the trunk is there. Once you start splitting it like this, you put a wedge there so that it won't come back and attach to, both pieces won't attach back together. So they put a small wedge, right? Just like this. They put a wedge like this, so it keeps open. And then when they come back from lunch, they'll keep cutting even more so that the wedge goes deeper and deeper, and the trunk opens up into two pieces. So they put a wedge in the middle of the trunk and they went for lunch. Now, this curious monkey, what it did was, after the workers left for lunch, all these monkeys came, they were jumping up and down the logs and all. And this curious George kind of a monkey, it came and started playing with the wedge, and the wedge was not coming. Then this curious George started furiously, very vigorously, okay, with applying all its strength, it started tugging at the wedge. After great struggle, what happened was the wedge started moving. Then the curious monkey, little monkey, really felt happy that, okay, here I am trying to do some naughty stuff and I'm able to, I'm about to be successful in what I'm going to do. And it showed all the monkeys around, and other monkeys were just watching what this monkey was doing. So after great struggle, it was successful in pulling out the wedge. And it, as it lifted the wedge, right, it was very happy that it could pull out the wedge, and it was very happy, and it was showing to all the other monkeys, okay, look, look, look. But then all of a sudden, it started feeling shooting pain through its legs. And then it looked down. What happened? Both its legs got, okay, here is the wedge, and the monkey was pulling on the wedge. Now what happened was, both its legs got stuck into the opening in the trunk where the wedge was before. The wedge is now taken out, but then the monkey's legs were being used as the wedge, and then it got stuck. Both the legs were stuck in the slit, in the opening in the log. Now, a shooting pain, a lot of pain, it was not able to bear the pain. It started trying to pull its leg out of the trunk, out of that thing, but the legs wouldn't come out. All the other monkeys came, tried pulling the monkey. What happens when the leg is stuck and you pull, either the leg will come, or what will happen is the leg will start getting elongated. The nerves will start breaking because the strength of the trunk is much more than the strength being applied by the monkeys. So after they pulled and pulled and pulled and tried the monkey, they failed, and the small monkey got stuck in the wood, in the trunk, lost its leg, and losing its energy, after a while, it lost also its life. Okay? So it's a very sad ending to the curious little. Therefore, saying all this, Karataka told Damanaka, it is not wise to poke our nose into affairs that are not our concern. Okay? So, the story of the monkey and the wedge, what does it tell us? It tells us that we should not poke our nose into affairs that are none of our business. That is not our concern. So this is something that we all should remember. This is a principle. This is one of the earliest principles from Panchatantra. If we have no business, we should not poke our nose into others' affairs. Okay? So then, listening to this story of the monkey and the wedge, Damanaka retorted. Retorted means shot back, replied back, saying, well, not everybody will get into such situations. But then Karataka said, well, okay, why do you want to go and poke your nose into the affairs of the king? We are happy here in the forest. We have a lot of food available, and we are happy. So don't unnecessarily put your life in danger by going and poking your nose into the affairs of the king, Pingalaka, the Lion King. Then Damanaka said, Well, food is not the center of life. Yeah, our elders, don't you remember what our elders told us? That wise men, clever people, seek the help of the king to so that they also can grow higher in position, and they can use that higher position to help friends, and if needed, also harm enemies. So it will only be possible if we are in a higher position. And how do we get higher position in the forest? By being friendly with the lion. Now we both are without a job. Our parents, our fathers were removed as ministers of King Pingalaka. It is now our turn to go and make friends with the king, Lion King Pingalaka, and see if we can get jobs back, our father's jobs for ourselves. Then, if somehow living somehow is the goal, Damanaka said, even crows live, eating on dead bodies, and they live a long life. What kind of a life is that, right? So let us live happily, not only for food, but also for prestige. But also let us live in a high position. Let us approach the king and see how we can help the king and get into his good looks. Then Karataka said, okay, so what do you want to do now? Then Damanaka said, didn't you observe? The king looks scared. Who will ask him what is frightening him? What is he afraid of? And then let us apply our intelligence and see if we can solve his problem. Okay. Now, Karataka asked, how do you know he's scared? How did you find it out? How did you figure it out? Then Damanaka said, well, changes in posture he's making, the pace of his movements or not moving at all, the actions, the way he is talking, the looks on his face, and the expressions, all these indicate that he's worried in his mind. When will a king be worried? The king is lion is the king of the jungle, and it is not really worried about anything, right, of any other animal. But if all these signs on the face of Pingalaka point to worry, then he is worried about something that is unknown. So let us go and ask, and I'll approach this fear-struck Lion King with my intelligence. I'll try to remove his fear and see if I can get back the job of a minister. Okay. The fox, jackals, they are clever. They can be very clever in a good way, and sometimes they apply their intelligence in a bad way also. Okay. Now, Karataka asked Damanaka, so how can you do it without knowing how to serve, how to be a good servant? Then Damanaka told him all he knew and all he learned by observing other servants, by observing the elders in their community. And then he told what makes a good and loyal servant for a king. Damanaka said, well, when the king is thoughtful or thinking serious about something, or when he is talking to his wife or kids or dear friends, we should not go and disturb him. So observe when the king is alone and talk to him, find an opportune moment and then approach him. Okay. A loyal servant, okay, Damanaka is saying, a loyal servant can offer advice to the king even when the king does not ask for advice. And a servant who is very close to the king and serves him well can at times, after serving the king for a length of time, sometimes the servant can actually dictate what the king should do. And it has happened. And in this connection, I want to remind you all about a similar incident from Ramayana. Remember Kaikeyi and Manthara? Manthara was a loyal and long-time servant of Kaikeyi. And at an opportune moment, even though Kaikeyi did not ask for Manthara's advice, Manthara advised Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi followed Manthara's advice. And we all know what happened after that. Without Manthara, there wouldn't be the Ramayana as we knew it, right? So also, getting back to our story, Damanaka said, I'll go and talk to our Lion King and let us see, let us try our luck. Karataka said, in that case, I wish you all good luck. Go ahead, my friend. So taking leave of Karataka, Damanaka then went to see the king. And at the head of the cave, as Damanaka stood there, Pingalaka recognized Damanaka as the son of one of his previous ministers, and asked his security people, some animals will be standing as security at the gate, right? So Pingalaka said, let him in, I know who he is. So Damanaka came down, sat on his knees, and paid respects to the king, saying, oh my lord, O King Pingalaka, I'm very happy to see you. Thank you very much for letting me in. And the king said, oh yeah, we haven't seen you in a long time. What is going on? How are you guys doing? Well, my lord, I am not fortunate enough to get a call from you all these days, from your court. But there is I just want to remind you that there is a difference between good servants and bad servants. And the king should always keep an eye on the difference between good servants and bad servants, and always call good servants and make them work in his court. So I don't know how I can be of use to you, my lord, but I wanted to come and see you. But as I saw you, I see that you are worried about something. What is it? May I know what you are worried about? Then the king said, well, forget about.
We have to go to our next class.
Forget about what I am worried about, but go ahead and tell me what you have in mind. Okay. So Damanaka said, no, sir, I saw you before. You are very majestic, very proud, very strong. You used to roam around, and whenever you used to roam around the jungle, we used to be, moving aside, just watching you in amazement. But now we don't see you going around. We don't see you coming to the river Yamuna for drinking water or, catching prey. So I thought you are worried about something. So can you please tell me what is worrying you? Then Pingalaka was surprised at Damanaka's question. And at first, he decided not to admit his fears to Damanaka. And he said, oh, no, it just happened like that. Nothing special. We have a lot of food here. And I'll probably come after some time. I just don't feel like drinking water right now. But whenever I feel, I'll come to Yamuna. So don't worry about it. Then Damanaka said, O king, O my lord, if you don't want to tell me, then so be it. There are things one tells his wife, and there are things one tells his kids, and then there are some other things that one tells his friends. And not everything can be shared with everyone. I understand that. My lord. So, listening to this, Pingalaka started mellowing down, and all his fears came back to him, and it took over overwhelmingly. and Pengalaka started shivering and opened up. Okay. Oh, Damanaka, yes, you are right. I am afraid of something strange. Haven't you heard of that strange loud sound a couple of days ago when I came for drinking water? I don't know where that sound came from. I don't know which kind of an animal makes that kind of a sound. So I'm very afraid. I'm very frightened of that sound, and I think there is some strange new animal that came into our jungle. And if I come out of the den, it may pounce on me and kill me, and then kill all the animals here. So actually, I'm thinking of leaving this jungle and going to somewhere else. Okay. So then Damanaka said, Your Majesty, yes, I also heard that strange sound, but I didn't pay much attention to it. We keep hearing all kinds of sounds. If it is only that is bothering you, then I wish to submit that sounds are often misleading. We should not be worried about all different kinds of sounds that we hear. Don't you know about the story of the jackal? Heard the sounds and which was afraid of a sound, and came that sound, that fear. Didn't you hear about that story? My father told me many times, and I thought you knew it too. Then Pengalaka said, "Oh, is it? What is that story? Let's hear it," said Lion King Pengalaka. And Damanaka started narrating the story of the jackal and the drum. Okay. So this is how one story leads into another in Panchatantra. And telling these stories one after the other, we try to learn different principles of life skills and principles and morals, how to live, what to learn, how to speak, all this. Let's move now to the story of the jackal and the drum. Okay. Once upon a time, a hungry jackal went in search of food, and he went through the jungle, and he couldn't find anything that he can kill and eat. So he went all through the jungle. Then he came into the open lands, and those open lands, that place, they were known as battlefield, or where previous wars took place. So then it said, okay, now we are into the battlefield. Maybe there are some dead bodies that animals are eating on. Maybe I'll find a piece to eat. And so it went around, it started going around and trying to find something to eat. And all of a sudden, he heard a loud and weird sound. And it's coming after every little while. Okay. It's almost like, and then there is some silence, and then again, and then some more silence. So this kind of a drum sound, the jackal hasn't heard before. So it's really worried. Where is this sound coming from? And it is so afraid that it turned back and started running back into the jungle. But then once it started running back, something happened in its mind, and he started thinking, okay, where is the sound? The sound is not moving. Just sound is coming after every few minutes or seconds, but the sound is not moving. So let us see who is making that sound, where the sound is coming from. So thinking, the jackal went in the direction of the sound, and as the jackal neared the place where the sound was coming from, the sound grew louder and louder. Okay. And then it came upon a tree with some broken branches that were hanging down, and then there's a drum at the base of the tree. And when the wind was blowing, one of the branches was moving up and down and hitting drum. So the drum making sounds. So looking at that, the jackal was really surprised. It was intrigued. So it went near the drum and started beating the drum, started hitting on the drum with a stick. And it really enjoyed the sound that the drum was making. And then it realized, okay, what am I here for? I'm here
It's
for
time for our next class.
eating. Yeah, this story is getting over. So this is I am here to eat food. So then it tore up the thinking that there is some meat inside the membrane. Okay, but it found nothing. It's just hollow. So seeing that there is nothing in there, it got saddened and then it turned back and started going back. But while going back, it felt very happy that okay, now I got rid of my fear. I should not, whether it is fear or happiness, one must know its cause. Whether I am afraid or whether I am really very happy, I should find out what is making me so frightened or what is making me so happy, and then
Yes.
move on about our life. So the moral of the story of the jackal and the don't be afraid of anything that we hear. Don't be afraid of any sounds that are made. Don't be afraid of anything that somebody else tells you. First, try to understand what it is, who told it, is it really true or not? Understand it, and then most of your fears will be gone. So with these two stories, we'll pause here today, and then tomorrow we'll go back to what Damanaka and Pengalaka had to say. Okay, I hope you understood the morals of the two stories we covered today, and in next session we'll continue. Thank you very much. Jai Shankara. Jai Jai Shankara.